this might be a tough decision right now.
My
but
team
I'm
did
not just
absolutely
Some
garbage.
NFL games that were like,
Right.
whoa.
I actually don't
Had
understand.
a lot of mixed feelings. Welcome, Disgruntled. We have another guest here on the Legal Domains.
Now we are recording, and I actually know what episode this is this time, and it's episode 119. And today we are going to be reviewing our week 13 predictions, question mark. I don't have the doc up, so
Yeah, it's week 13.
yeah, we're going to be reviewing week 13 predictions, and then we're going to be predicting week 14 of this coming week. And boy, oh boy, I forget the doc. Okay. Sorry, my brain just like went into so yeah, today this week was a crazy one to say at least. Good.
Yeah, I agree. It was
Yeah.
very entertaining.
Hold on. Let me get to the week 13. Yeah, so we start off with the Buffalo Bills versus New England Patriots. Oh, and I'm co-host Caleb Leonza, and this is co-host Titus Oldham. Yo, I forget when was the last time we actually said our names to start the podcast.
I don't think it's necessary, honestly.
I guess it's not, but
I don't think it changes the experience.
I think it does. We're
It's in the description, right?
that is true. Yeah. And it does record our names. Okay. Okay, but Buffalo, New England, in which I was so off on this prediction, in which Buffalo Bills defeated the New England Patriots 24-10. And I think you were semi-correct with kind of what you predicted with this Josh Allen being kind of a social media quarterback, in which NFL was lacking some highlights from him, and boy oh boy did he provide at least a
Oh,
couple.
yeah. He had a decent game. I won't say he outperformed or anything, but he got the job done. 24 points, pretty good against the Patriots. I would say that the Patriots also looked pretty good, but the Bills are just a better team.
Yes, he had Josh Allen had 66.7 completion percentage, 223 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 106 rating. And that's perfect sentence to describe this is what you just said was he did enough to win, and he didn't need to do anything too outrageously special to get this win. And yeah, I think this is a good all-around win for the Buffalo Bills because New England defense is not it's a challenging one to face, to say the least, and it's a divisional matchup as well, in which this division is so desperately needed to get wins within this division in order to stay up on top. You got the Dolphins and Bills battling for the number one position, and these divisional games are crucial, to say the least.
Yeah, we then go on to Sunday, which had the Pittsburgh Steelers beating the Atlanta Falcons. Who would have thought?
You would have thought.
For those of you who don't know, every time we predict the Atlanta Falcons, which we did this week, they always lose. And sometimes in fashions that are just straight up sad, heartbreakers. Not much more to say there, honestly.
Yeah. This does not help those playoff odds that the Falcons were so desperately playing for. Kenny Pickett is a little bit on a roll now. He got a touchdown this game, and yeah, there's not much to say. This was kind of a meaningless coin flip game, and yeah, the Buccaneers are kind of going away with this division. But then you got the Green Bay Packers versus the Chicago Bears. Packers won 28-19, in which Aaron Rodgers, as always, has always something funny to say at the end of each time he beats the Bears when he comes into their home field and absolutely destroys them. And I forget exactly what he says, but he was just kind of alluding to the fact that, when he goes in the Bears' home field is kind of his home field as well. Not really, because I don't know how many fans actually show up, but it's basically just a free win, and he was just basically jumping around and making a comedic point of how he always dominates the Bears, no matter what time it is during the year when they play or when the Packers visit the Bears stadium. And yeah, mainly these past few years, Packers have an easy time and the Bears are usually out of playoff contention. But the only thing that I look forward to these games is what Aaron Rodgers will say during the game and his post interview after the game. And it was entertaining to say the least. When it may be the last time he actually plays in this field, he knows where is going to be next year. He knows if he's going to retire. He knows if he's going to be a 49ers, but it's going to be interesting. It's going to be
No,
interesting.
49ers have Brock Purdy, so no worries there. They don't need Aaron Rodgers.
Mr. Irrelevant.
Yeah, that's right. Could go down as the greatest Mr. Irrelevant in history, but there's always Ryan Suckup, I think, is like the other like really good Mr. Irrelevant. So obviously I'm just, anticipating really good things from Brock Purdy, even though he's only played a one decent game. But as far as this game goes, I don't really care. Like, yeah, Aaron Rodgers wins against the Bears a lot, but the Bears are bad this year, and so are the Packers. I don't really like look at this game and see like, oh, this was the game that the Packers needed to really start feeling the fire and to go on a roll and maybe get themselves into the wild card spot last second. I don't anticipate that. I think it's too little too late, and for him to be bragging about it or whatever last year makes sense. He was doing really good last year, MVP season. They went like 13-3 or something.
Yeah.
13-4 actually. It was a 17 game season. But it's a different thing this year. All right. You're now 5-8. You're losing the division to Kirk Cousins.
What do you mean?
No time to be shitting on a team that has historically always been worse than yours with a young quarterback and a new coach. Like, there's no need for that. They're obviously rebuilding. You're not in a position where you're obviously rebuilding or anything like that. You should be doing better than you are. You're not. So I don't really like it when quarterbacks are like really down in the standings or whatever, or underperforming. They win their one game, their one gimme, and then they act all proud of it. I don't like that. I think that's not the right attitude to set. You have so much more to be looking forward to or to be striving for, but instead you're kind of coasting is what it sounds like.
Go off, King. That's couldn't say any better. And
we expect more from the back-to-back reigning MVP. I don't think that's too much to ask for like another winning season and just, better stats than what he's been putting up.
I agree, and especially a back-to-back MVP who is almost retired. He's in the later half of his. He's a veteran. He's going out. He's 38, 39 years old. And yeah, I did get a sense I was kind of off, even though I know I was kind of like excited and kind of praising him for those comments. But it was more so of this game was not really meant to be an exciting game, and there's not much to be looking forward to. So it was kind of a more entertaining value that I was kind of looking for him to kind of roast the Bears. But when he did, I was like, I kind of got an off feeling as well. Where are you really sure that you're going to be trash talking when you're in a similar boat, a worst off boat because you're not even rebuilding than the Chicago Bears are?
Speaking of this division that is rebuilding or not rebuilding, verdict still out there. Detroit Lions beat the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Battle of the Cats, both 4-7. Lions are the better team, despite Jacksonville having back-to-back first-round picks and a Super Bowl winning coach. And among other things going well for the Jacksonville Jaguars. They have Christian Kirk.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the Lions, they just dominated. Their defense is looking better and better, which was like the one weak side to this team, I believe. Aiden Hutchinson just keeps adding to his highlight reel, and the offense is looking just as dominant as they were to start the year before Monroe St. Brown got injured. Jamal Williams, obviously the goal line backing all the touchdowns, very fantasy relevant right now. DeAndre Swift, an every down type back who should be getting more fantasy points, but obviously just not getting into the end zone as often. And then receivers all doing their part. Jared Goff not doing terrible, honestly. He's just, doing what he needs to do for this team at the moment. I really like where the Lions are headed. I don't have a lot of confidence in the Jaguars as much as I did to start the season. I thought I think Trevor Lawrence should be putting together more games where he's actually like balling at this point. In his second season, I need him to like really start to pile together some like good highlights. Just to build that momentum for his third season, which is like that's the key season for me for young quarterbacks. Like, what are they doing in their third season? But I feel like he's not trending in the right direction. It just seems very up and down. And in this game, he also got injured, I believe. That's not good. But I do know Doug Peterson's a good coach, and hopefully he'll, steer the ship back in the right direction after this setback.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better. I don't have much to add on to that, but yeah, the Lions are steamrolling. If you put up, I feel like for me personally, if you put up 40 plus in a game, that's kind of like the benchmark of a dominating like performance by the offense, and it's just crazy to see that, you know, this Lions team is really constructing a good team so far with a lot of potential with draft picks in the future, and they're just one QB away from and a few defensive pieces to really just dominating this league in the next 5 years. And I can only imagine if they still had Darius Slay, what that defense would be construction doing, because boy oh boy, that would be a even more deadly of a defense, and they would just need maybe one more piece on offense, QB, and one more piece on defense to really be an elite team. But yeah, I got nothing much more to say other than that. We go on to the Minnesota Vikings versus the New York Jets. I predicted the Jets, and Titus predicted Minnesota to win.
Very fun game to watch.
And this was kind of close. This was a close game, but I feel like the Jets were always trying to climb back throughout this entire game. I was kind of checking on the game, and it always looked like the Jets were 7 points down, 14 points down at a couple points, but that doesn't mean that it still wasn't exciting. This was still a very exciting game to watch because I don't know, even though the Jets were kind of trailing throughout this game, it always felt like they were still in this game. And yeah, I feel like they made it close, and then Vikings made a couple more plays and then went ahead. But I don't know, this was a very entertaining to keep up with, and I really wanted the Jets to win because it just puts the Eagles a couple more games ahead of the Vikings. I think it would have been 3 games ahead of the Vikings if the Jets would have won. But yeah, I'm really happy to see the Jets' success because even though they didn't win in this game, they still show that they can contend with like the highest teams within this league. And yeah, I thought what was his name? Would prevail. Crap. Is it Mike White? Mike White. I thought Mike White would prevail in this game. He had 369 yards, but he had 2 interceptions. Those 2 interceptions was very costly within this game, and I thought that he would have back-to-back great games, but he simply did not. He did not.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but those interceptions did come when it was like late in the game, and so they're trying to like force big plays. I feel like through the majority of the game he was doing well as far as ball control and wasn't turning the ball over. It just came down to those, trying to get yourself back in the game, which, you're going to be more prone to those interceptions, especially as a quarterback who doesn't have a lot of that experience to the same like degree as say like Tom Brady, who, he's not going to be turning the ball over as much in those clutch minutes because he's just made for those moments. And it's not to say Mike White can't be, but he's just not there yet. And I think it's just been a very interesting season for New York Jets fans where they have been prevailing. Even though this was a loss, I would still say it was a good loss because of everything they've gone through. They started the season starting Joe Flacco and having a lot of rookie running back success out of Breece Hall. Then they benched Joe Flacco and Breece Hall gets injured. And then you transition to Zach Wilson and Michael Carter as that duo. And then you then have Zach Wilson having to get benched, and then Michael Carter getting injured. And now we're at the point where we have Mike White and Zonovan Knight, people that were not even names in our minds at all. We had no idea who these people were heading into these weeks, but now we know, because not only have they been really like keeping the offense in the game, but they've actually been fantasy relevant as well. I won a matchup with Zonovan Knight in one of my fantasy leagues. He had a great game. Mike White, I also still think is pretty relevant. especially in his first showing. The Jets, I think the consistency from them, despite all the changes on their roster, is just something that's like really impressive. And honestly, I feel like that warrants a coach of the year, at least nod. Maybe he doesn't like get the coach of the year, but I definitely feel like he should be up there with of course Eagles coach Nick Sirianni. So I think Nick Sirianni's still the front runner in my mind, but just looking at everything the Jets have gone through, I would definitely consider him.
Most definitely. And a name that we kind of forgotten too, or at least I did, is that James Robinson is still on that team. He hasn't really been productive by all means. And, these other backs have been proving that they're playing a lot better than he is, thus getting more carries than he is. But I don't know. I just keep forgetting that James Robinson is always also a piece to that Jets offense, which is crazy to think about. But
And one person that I neglected, and this is my bad because he has been a consistent playmaker the whole season, no matter what quarterback he has. This is a new team for him because he's a rookie, and he's had 3 different starting running quarterbacks, and the season isn't even done yet. Who knows? Maybe he'll have a 4th. We don't know yet. Like, it could happen. And the guy is Garrett Wilson, of course. Garrett Wilson, I think right now, he didn't start the season this way, but I think at this point he's been the best rookie wide receiver. Obviously, Olave and Drake London both had a lot of great games. Even Alec Pierce, even as of recently against the Cowboys. And we also haven't seen what Jameson Williams is capable of yet, but we'll get there when the time comes. But as far as, being available, playing each game, and just having dominating performances and having to go through all the shit that the Jets have gone through, this is like a real test of like willpower and stamina and everything. Just Garrett Wilson has like passed every test, and I would have a lot of faith in that offense, knowing that we have a young wide receiver like that for many years to come.
Yes, I'm very excited for that, or for him, and for the future of that offense as well. It's crazy to see his success, even like you said, with 3 different QBs. He had 8 receptions, 162 yards for this game. So yes, a lot of nods should go his way. He's been a big reason why this offense has been productive, and he even had a pass, and it was incomplete, but trying to get into every facet of that offense to make it somewhat movable with the different QBs and stuff. But it's very interesting to watch this Jets team, in which I personally did not think that would be this successful with how many different pieces that they had.
And I should note as well that looking at the Offensive Rookie of the Year odds, Garrett Wilson has found himself in the top of the conversation. Another rookie wide receiver that I didn't mention was Christian Watson, who, as of recently, has really shown up. But I think Garrett Wilson has the consistency behind him. Like, he's been playing, pretty consistently since the start of the year. And then, but at the top of these odds is actually Kenneth Walker, which I think makes sense. I don't think he's like really been showing up too much recently, but he's still been consistent. And then going into the next. Oh wait, what? Sorry.
I was just going to say that I'm just happy that I have Kenneth Walker and Christian Watson, because boy, they've been doing really good in fantasy. But yeah,
rookies always come in clutch come playoff time for fantasy.
Yes,
Jonathan Taylor, his first year, he won me that fucking season for sure.
Yes, sir.
Among other players, obviously Jamar Chase, real league winner for sure last year. I believe Brendan had him at least.
Yeah,
anyways,
I think yeah. But
the Giants and the Commanders, a tie, 2020. Is this good for the Eagles, Caleb? Tell us.
I've been thinking about this all weekend. I think, I don't know. I think this is ultimately good for the Eagles, because I think it puts both teams 0.5 ahead, but it puts them 0.5 behind as well. and it doesn't put a full game ahead, you know? I guess it kind of
They stagnated, whereas the Eagles went a game up this week.
yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. And ultimately, I think this is the best case scenario because I don't know. I just simply did not want either team to win. And to be honest, I feel like they're completely equal and I can see them like both losing out for the rest of the games this season. So it only makes sense that they tie. Excuse me. It only makes sense that they tie in this fashion. And yeah, I think this is ultimately good for the Eagles. And it just showcases that even though Washington beat the Eagles earlier this season, Washington and the Giants should not be a complete threat to the Eagles, and their main concerns should be focused on the Cowboys, in which I would be interested to see what happens Christmas Eve. But yeah, this just makes me, with all the records aside, this makes me less worried about them potentially winning in the division. Not that I was ever too concerned about either or winning the division because I feel like the Eagles were ahead enough where they didn't have to worry about these two. But it definitely just showcases that I don't know, these teams are just mediocre and they were able to find a few wins early on the season. And Washington was the biggest concern for me recently with going. I think they went like 5-1 and 6-1 within their last seven, in which just showed me too that they are able to be stopped as well, and that it's kind of more of a fluke that when they beat the Eagles. So yeah, I don't know. It's just I feel like it's just the perfect representation of these two teams, mediocre teams to say the least. And yeah, it just makes me less worried about them like pulling off. But I don't know why, but I turn into like I've always been kind of a fan of Heineke. I know that you haven't so much, but but I don't know. Heineke, I just like the reason why I became a fan was because he showed effort when I think it was Washington's playoff game against the Buccaneers, in which they were kind of like this like underdog mentality, and I think everyone fell in love with him that game, but I don't there's like a certain energy when he's winning, and I just like his character when he is winning. I don't know, except for that one play when Brandon Graham kind of drew that penalty last second to kind of wreck the Eagles' chances on winning. And that celebration was so irritating. But besides that, I don't know, he's just fun to watch. It was 27 for 41, 275 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he had a decent game. Brian Robinson had a decent game as well, 21 carries, 96 yards. On the flip side, you have Daniel Jones only missing six passes. He went 25 for 31, 200 yards and a touchdown. But yeah, that's all I gotta say.
Daniel Jones is the new Josh Allen. You know, I've been saying it. He's got Brian Daboll to lead the way. I think he keeps getting better and better. I don't know. He hasn't really been turning over the ball too much. Like, I think a lot of those issues are starting to get fixed. I'm not saying, I won't actually say that he's like elite when I'm like being serious about this. I don't think he'll get into that conversation. But I think before the season, we definitely felt like he was like towards the bottom of the starting quarterbacks. And now he's kind of like made his way into like a Kirk Cousins position where it's like, we can win with him. Like he's not throwing games for us at this point. And I think that's very important. Another thing I want to mention is that one Heineke play against the Eagles. I agree that did rub me the wrong way, but I'm a neutral party. It wasn't even just that I wanted the Eagles to win. I was just like, that was just excessive to me.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like cheering for a penalty, I think in any circumstance is kind of weird. Unless it's like a very like strategic thing, like getting an opponent to like jump off sides. That's a little different. Whereas like you can't like strategically put yourself in place for that sort of thing. It was just Brandon Graham just kind of like being a little reckless. And so like I find it weird that Heineke did that just because I don't know. I feel like you should want to win the game, you know, pretty like convincingly. And if it comes down to like a fluky call, not fluky call, but just like a penalty like that, it's kind of weird. But whatever. A win is a win, and I can sympathize with that. The other thing I wanted to mention is that maybe this doesn't affect the Eagles as much because they are now more than 4 games ahead of these teams, or around 4 games ahead of these teams. but it definitely throws a wrench into the wild card race that the Seahawks will be fighting for with the Giants and Commanders, because definitely Cowboys are in it, and if like maybe Cowboys do sneak up on the Eagles, either Eagles or Cowboys are definitely a lock for a wild card spot. Leaves two, and that's probably going to come down to Giants, Commanders, Seahawks. Just looking at this, I doubt any other team can really like sneak up at this point. It would take a lot. So between those three, only two of them can move on, and so I think this might be good for the Seahawks, but time will tell.
Yes, and we'll talk about this later, but the Seahawks did end up winning, so that's also good for them. You know, Washington still has a half point advantage over them, so if they end up with the 7-5, or if they end up with like the same record, that tie may come into place. But yeah, I guess only time will tell. But speaking of the Eagles, what a domination! What a domination! This was so
I needed this actually. Because if this week happened and the Eagles didn't dominate the Titans, it'd be insufferable. But yeah, I feel like it was a good trade-off between the Colts game and the Titans game. We just both got dominated.
Yes, and both by NFC East teams as well, which is kind of funny as to
Yep.
see. But yeah, this was a really all around really good effort by the Eagles. Only thing that was absolutely terrible and horrendous, and I'm like, come on, this is a veteran offensive line, but the amount of penalties that we gave up, especially on that offensive line, I think there was like 5 false starts that we gave up on that offensive line in the first half alone. And I think it was whoever was announcing was so fucking annoying. I think it was Chris Collinsworthless. I don't know. I do not know, but
For the
whoever,
Eagles game?
yeah, who were the announcers?
No, he doesn't do daytime.
Yeah, that's
He does
why I was
primetime.
like, that it can't be. Do you
Was it
remember?
Greg Olson?
It may
I
have
love Greg Olson. Wait, let me find out. I'll find out. You keep
Yeah.
talking.
But whoever was announcing was so fucking annoyed. Not annoyed, but it was like, all right. You killed the joke because whoever it was just beating that joke to the end. It was like, oh, that was like their 500,000th penalty false start.
It was Kevin Burkhardt and Greg Olson. How did I know? That's crazy. It may have been Kevin Burkhardt, but I have a feeling it was Greg Olson that would have done that.
I don't get me wrong. I love Olson to death. He's like one of my favorite players of all time. But good old God, he was beating that joke. He was just beating that to the ground, and it was so fucking annoying. It was like, all right, yeah, we understand. Yes, the Eagles have like a bajillion penalties, especially on that false start, and we got away with one before that last touchdown that we scored, which was kind of funny, but. Yeah, all around this was a very dominant performance by the Eagles. The defense, they stopped Derrick Henry. I did not think that they would, but Jordan Davis is back, so I think that's a big reason why they did. And I was not expecting Jordan Davis to be back this soon. And if I knew that he would be back for this game, then I would have said that we would only hold him for how many yards that we held him for this game. And I forget what exactly we held Derrick Henry to, but it was definitely
Oh, it was definitely good because I was playing Trey this week, and Derrick Henry was a non-factor, which was very good for.
He only got 30 rushing yards, which was immaculate because I thought that Derrick Henry would be running all over us. And yeah, I don't know. We stopped the run, we stopped the pass, we got a shit ton of sacks. We didn't turn the ball over on defense, which I was kind of expecting us to. And I was hoping that we would, but we sadly did not. Yeah, I don't know. Like this was a really good feel-good game. We put up points and where we needed to, and we pressed on the gas, which is very unlikely of the Eagles this year. We're tending to stop around the second quarter once we're up by a decent margin, but even in the second quarter, we were still trying to get points. We tried a Hail Mary in the second before the second half started. It was like 5 seconds left in the second quarter, and we tried a Hail Mary, which was, even though it didn't end up in any points, and it was just a Devontae Smith long reception, it still showed that, you know what, let's run up the scoreboard a little bit. I know that, that's a little bit of unsportsmanlike character of like running up the scoreboard, but I don't know. It looks good in the scoreboard, and I think it calms some of the haters about the Eagles a little bit, because I think one of the biggest flaws or cons about the Eagles is that they weren't scoring enough, especially in the second half. And they're showing the past couple games that yeah, we can score a shit ton in the second half. We just didn't need to due to being up by a shit ton. And even I was saying about throughout this year that that was one of the cons of the Eagles, is that they weren't able to score in the second half. But yeah, they just showed that they were able to score. And boy, oh boy, Jalen Hurts is definitely making a case the past couple of games for him to be MVP. I haven't looked at the MVP race because I tend to wait until we get to that section to look at the MVP race. I don't know where Titus has Jalen Hurts, but I think it's in between Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts is now. But I think Patrick Mahomes still leads that category just because of how many passing yards he has and just how many stats he has over Jalen Hurts as of now. But if Jalen Hurts continues this trend the next couple of games, I can see Jalen Hurts overtaking Patrick Mahomes just because of the record. And Patrick Mahomes, we will get to this later, but Patrick Mahomes did lose. But I don't know. It's just a rushing touchdowns, 3 passing touchdowns, I believe, for Jalen Hurts, and almost 400 passing yards. And the passing yards is one of the areas where I was thinking that he needs to improve on, but he was able to get almost 400 passing yards, which is Patrick Mahomes level. He was only 20 yards off. Yeah, he was 20 yards off. He had 130 rating. And yeah, this is another great look for Jalen Hurts, and a dominant performance by AJ Brown in which he had 2 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
That first touchdown was so weird to watch because I was like, how the hell was he that wide open? But he just bull rushed the defender and he caught a wide open touchdown in which it ended up being a penalty on the cornerback. And he got his second, and I'm just so happy that he was able to get that, because boy, that I new public enemy number 1 for the Eagles is that fucking cornerback. He's the dirtiest motherfucker I've ever seen. Like, he fucking was trying to twist AJ Brown's ankles every time AJ Brown caught a pass. And there's this one vivid, like, absurd, obvious time where he tackled AJ Brown, and then he tackled him and then twisted his ankle and like turned his ankle, and he wouldn't let go of AJ Brown's ankle. And that rubbed me such a wrong way, because it's like, I don't care who you are, you don't fucking play to hurt or you don't play to injure other players. Like, don't do that. Like, look, you don't do that in this league. I don't care how far you're down or how far you have to come back, how badly of a piece of burnt toast you are. You can't fucking hurt the other player that you're fucking playing. And that's like the number 1 cardinal rule in the fucking NFL. You don't fucking play to injure other people, because it's not their fault that they're burning you. They're just doing their job. It's your own fault for letting them burn you. But like, that second touchdown too by I.G. Brown was a ridiculous catch. It was just like he made that cornerback look silly. The cornerback did not know where to look, and all I.J. Brown had to do was like quickly turn, and it was just a beautiful catch. But that's all I have to say about the Eagles. But it was a beautiful performance by I think they're a decent team in this league.
Shout outs Greg Olson. I don't care what he does. That dude is one of my favorite commentators because he's got the player experience. He has like pretty good like mind for football and like ability to now analyze things like on the fly. And I think he's witty, even if he, what'd you say, beats it into the ground. In the famous words of Haley Williams, he beat it like a dead horse. He beat it like a drum. Speaking of dead horses, the Denver Broncos lost 10-9 in a heartbreaker where they definitely should have lost with Lamar Jackson out. I mean, they definitely should have won with Lamar Jackson out. And yet, They lose 10-9. Heartbreaking fashion. Seems to happen a lot with the Broncos where they're kind of in it with like a really low scoring game and then just flops. Lots of overtime losses I've noticed. Not that this was, but it's a like similar fashion is what I'm trying to say.
Mhm.
And the Ravens, they're up 8-4, which is crazy considering, they've gotten away with like a lot of really close games like this and a lot of like offensive struggles even when like Lamar Jackson was healthy. And yet they're 8-4, and that's really important right now because they might be without Lamar Jackson up to 3 weeks. And probably the most important part of the regular season as far as like playoff implications. So yeah, that's gonna be rough. But being up 8-4 is a really good advantage here. And also I feel like they have one of the better backups in the league as far as like athleticism goes. Huntley, shout outs. So, give him a week to practice with the starting squad, and I think he'll be good. I don't know who he plays next week, but we'll figure that out.
I just feel
Broncos.
I just feel so bad for Trey.
Yeah, I mean do you remember what he said in the chat is like this Broncos defense with a decent offense would be like 12-5 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm being honest, like I don't think it comes down to like the quality of the offense. I think the players are there, right? Like Russell Wilson, at the end of the day, as much as we love to shit on him, and we do, we love to shit on him, but he's not a bad player. Okay. Mm-hmm. Like at worst, he's decent. At worst, he's Daniel Jones level, which, we've proven with good coaching, you get a really you get a winning team, basically. That's what I'm trying to say. I really think you take that head coach out this season. That makes it sound like I'm like asking for an assassination attempt. I don't mean that. You fire him. You leave him be. Leave him alone. Just fire him and get someone like the Chiefs offensive coordinator, the Bills offensive coordinator, even the Lions offensive coordinator. I think they all have like shown a lot of promise and potential to be head coaches and can reignite that offensive spark that this team needs, because I think the talent is all there, right? It comes down to coaching. So I don't know if they're like a 12-5 team with really great coaching. Maybe it's a little worse than that. But yeah, I think it's just something we'll have to see in the future because I cannot imagine this coach stays after a 3-win season. Okay, there's still a lot of games left. Let's say they get one more. At best, 2 more. That's still a 5-win season. That's not enough considering all the money you put into Russell Wilson and all the other areas of your team. It's not enough. So
I agree.
Yeah, that guy's got to go. Maybe general manager is an issue here too. I don't know. Figure it out because you're not going to get a lot of time left to figure it out before more players are going to want out of this organization like Bradley Chubb did.
I say straight up just assassinate the guy. No, I'm just joking.
Okay, no.
I'm joking. That was a
We do not condone violence
Yes.
or death threats or murder attempts on this podcast.
I agree. That was a complete joke, but yeah, I agree that I feel like he should just be simply fired, not assassinated. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do or who they hire with the list of that you gave with those offensive coordinators. Because I feel like if you just have a more offensive minded coach, I feel like the games this season for the Broncos have been relatively close, and most of them have been one-score games, if not practically all of them have been one-score games. And it'll just be interesting to see if they have simply a better coach, how many of those they realistically can win, because I feel like they've been in most games that they've like played in, and it'll just be interesting if they just had a coach that knew how to call plays.
I have a what if NFL standings in front of me. Basically, what if every one possession NFL game had the opposite result, and the Broncos would be 7-5, which is 4 more wins than they right now have. If just one possession in those games had the opposite result. So, I mean, to me, that's a big coaching thing. Coaching is what does that. The Eagles, they say, would be 6-6, which I think, like, if we're talking about like Nick Sirianni, like that's coaching. When you need it the most, there you have it. So yeah, I think you bring in a good coach, and the Broncos team, they could be a wild card team. I don't know if I can safely bet that they would win their division with the Chiefs looking as good as they are. Just, a lot of those guys have been playing with each other a long time. The Mahomes Kelsey dynamic is too good. Wilson hasn't had a chance to like really develop that with anyone. Plus he's corny, so no one really wants to. But
Yeah.
give it time. Maybe like people will reluctantly, maybe he's just someone that grows on you.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. It'll just be interesting to see what better coaching will happen, and if Russell Wilson can get less cheesy.
He had a really great dynamic with like Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. I can't imagine why Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy would be any different. Maybe I don't know. I don't really understand. Like I feel like just bring in a good coach and you get that dynamic rolling a little bit and there's no issues. There's no locker room problems. No matter how corny anyone is. I feel like you just have a winning team, you have a good culture, like everyone can be fine.
I agree. I agree. I want the Broncos to succeed because I just feel bad for Trey at this point. And they
No,
haven't
they can keep losing. Fuck Trey.
fuck Trey. Dude, they haven't been in the playoffs since 2015.
Peyton Manning, baby.
Peyton Manning, baby. But
Colts have been in the playoffs more recently. Come on. Come on, Broncos.
come on, Broncos. That's just such a shit show of an organization the past what is it, 7 years now? I don't know. I don't even know. They've had so many quarterbacks, and like your franchise is flawed when you spend 70 million on Brock Osweiler to be your starting quarterback. But
Speaking of Osweiler,
you got Houston Texans versus Cleveland Browns.
wait, was he? Yeah, he was on the Texans and the Browns, so that's why I said that. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought maybe for a second I was wrong, but I'm right.
No,
yeah,
you're dead wrong.
this matchup, I really hope that Texans would win just to like really make Watson mad. And Watson didn't end up having a good game, so it's all good on that front. But it was still kind of close. I think Browns defense definitely carried, and Texans, they're tanking. Like even in this game, it's like pretty obvious. Also, they benched the one quarterback that I thought might have a good season, Davis Mills. So
Oh no, not
we
Davis.
got Kyle Allen now. I forgot all about that. I think that happened a couple of weeks ago, but this is the first time I've paid attention to a Texans game in a while. So, yeah, Kyle Allen. Yeah, they don't really got much. I think I don't even know if Brandon Cooks is back because he got pissed that he didn't get traded. So he's just like, they took away his like captaincy. He was like captain, and then he didn't want to play anymore, so they took it away. It's like this whole team for a long time has just been a fucking roller coaster ride, and it's not stopping anytime soon. Clearly, really excited to see who they take number one between Stroud or Young, or maybe they shock the whole world and take like fucking a defensive player. I don't know. It'd be crazy, but
Yeah. There's still a complete 180 on the position that everyone would thought that they would get. Watson played terrible this game. He had 131 yards, one interception, 53.4 QBR rating, and 54.5 completion percentage. And I think everyone and their mom was rooting for the Houston Texans to win and beat this fucking slum of a guy. And yeah, they were holding their own for like first couple of quarters. I'm like, can the Texans actually beat the Browns? But Browns pulled it. Right? Yeah, no, not the case. Browns just did, yeah, you really thought, and did a 180. But yeah, it's just so frustrating because like I really wanted the Texans to win and fucking slamming that fucking guy in fucking Watson's face, and it was just
fuck that dude.
Yeah, fuck that dude. But yeah, Houston Texans went progressed their record to 1-10-1, and yeah, what an odd record to have. But moving on, we got the 6-5 Seattle Seahawks versing the 3-8 Rams. The Seahawks beat the Rams 27
That was close though.
27-23, and that is pretty close.
It was close. We had a great chippy matchup between Metcalf and Jalen Ramsey, I mean, I didn't realize, but they like don't like each other. And I thought that was very fun to watch, especially with Bobby Wagner on the Rams now. Like he knows too, and he was like getting involved a little bit. I just thought that whole situation was crazy. I was very shocked that the Rams kept it as close as they did, considering the injuries to their offense and just how bad they've been this season in general. I think, yeah, they're out of the playoffs. Like, I don't know why we keep thinking like maybe they can make a return, come back. It's over. The Rams, this might be the worst Super Bowl hangover. It could go down as like the worst Super Bowl hangover.
Yeah, I don't remember a worse Super Bowl hangover than this, and I'm just happy that the Eagles didn't have as bad as a Super Bowl hangover like this one, because this one I don't even know what to explain this. 3-9, 3-9 with that roster. Come on. I know we've went in depth with about why this roster is not doing as good as we originally thought. I mean, Cooper Kupp's out, Matthew Stafford's out, but I mean, I don't know. It's it's just such a weird dilemma to be in. Yeah, I thought the Seattle Seahawks would be able to control this game a lot more than they did. And it just yeah, yeah. For some reason I'm lost for words right now. But Kenneth Walker, he got injured and pretty early in this game. He started off this game really, really well. He had like 30 yards within the first like drive or so, first couple of drives. And I thought he was gonna get me like 50 fantasy points by the end of this game, but he only got me like 3.5. I didn't realize the rivalry between DK Metcalf versus Jalen Ramsey, because I don't know. I guess they don't really play that often to get. Wait, no, they're in the
They
same.
literally do.
Yeah, never mind. Forget that.
That's why I was surprised too, because I never noticed before.
Yeah, wait. He was. It wasn't. He was the. I forget that one rivalry. It was with Odell Beckham Jr. It wasn't with Jalen Ramsey, was it?
I don't think so. They
But-
were literally Super Bowl teammates, so that'd be weird if it was.
I meant like when Odell Beckham was on the Giants.
Well, yeah, but I mean, still, I mean, I doubt. I feel like we would hear a lot more about if they became teammates after that.
I just thought that it would be more of like it was Josh Norman. It was-
Yeah,
Yeah, it was. I don't know. I just thought that it would be more like in the news circulating. Like I feel like cornerback rivalries like Odell Beckham Jr. and Josh Norman would be like very comparable to DK Metcalf and Jalen Ramsey, and I would think that DK Metcalf and Jalen Ramsey would be even more in the limelight of a rivalry because of how both of them, or how both are a lot more meaningful to the NFL as a whole than Odell Beckham Jr. and Josh Norman. I guess Josh Norman was a pretty decent quarterback, but
I mean,
Yeah.
OBJ was all anyone talked about.
Yeah,
So
that
I don't
is-
know what you're talking about. I feel like right now Jalen Ramsey isn't getting talked about too much because the Rams are pretty bad.
yeah, I guess.
And DK Metcalf, as good as Geno Smith is, I don't think DK Metcalf has been as relevant as he was with Russell Wilson. So maybe
Yeah.
that has something to do with it. Yeah, but I expected it like, I mean, the way it was looking, it was like fucking Richard Sherman, Michael Crabtree. Like
Yeah.
they were, DK Metcalf would do like a motion to like the other side of the field, and he would like wave Jalen Ramsey to come with him, even though because it's like not man on man, it's zone coverage. You know, Rams can't do that, so they're like Jalen Ramsey stay. But like you could tell like he was kind of wonky. And then like DK Metcalf would like bull rush into him on certain routes and stuff like that. It was crazy.
I personally think a wide receiver and cornerback rivalry is the best in the league, because it's so entertaining to watch, because it's like they literally have to be man on man, and it's just so entertaining to watch. And I just live for that beef.
Yeah, you don't see that shit with like running back. Running backs are probably like the most like calm demeanored, like reserved people on the field. They just like sit back and they don't really do a lot of like chirping. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's usually like, you know, some linemen do it, I guess, but a lot of the time it's like, yeah, wide receivers and corners. And
Mhm.
like I guess there are like very vocal like linebackers, but I feel like they're more involved with like the fucking quarterback maybe.
Yeah, and that's why when AJ Brown was like chirping back at the cornerback that he was facing, I'm like, let's fucking go. I'm so happy that like AJ Brown's on the team where like he's good and there's also chirping. But yeah, I personally didn't watch too much of this game, so I don't have too much more commentary on this. But To move on, Miami Dolphins versus the San Francisco 49ers. This is the first time, I'm gonna be honest, this is the first time that I'm seeing this score. And boy, oh boy, it just looks like the 49ers dominated the Miami Dolphins 33-17.
It was crazy. I give 49ers more respect. They every week, especially as of late, every week they just keep proving that they are still the best defense in the league. And I think the stats now really show that, especially after this game. They made Tua look like last year Tua.
Yeah.
Like without Tyreek Hill, Tua Tagovailoa. And that was shocking because Tua has been one of the most, if not the most consistent quarterback in the entire league. And that's why he was so high up. And having only turned over the ball like a couple of times, that had a lot to do with his MVP campaign. And then in this game, it just all went out the window. And I don't think it was just like Tua just went, I don't think it was like Tua just like got bad all of a sudden. I think the 49ers simply just had the better game plan and just fucked him over. I mean, that's what it seemed like, especially because Jimmy Garoppolo got injured and in comes Mr. Irrelevant, Brock Purdy. And when that happens, the first thing you think of is like, oh, this game is over. A lot of people will start to think this season is over. 49ers were a Super Bowl team and now they're not. And then Brock Purdy's just like throwing dimes. He's like, I'm not going to say like he was looking elite or anything like that, but he was like doing his job, keeping the score in their favor when he wasn't letting the defense down, essentially. Because like, in any other like situation, the Dolphins would have had a chance to come back knowing that, okay, their starting quarterback's not there. It's some random dude, right? We can get back in this game. But Brock Purdy wasn't letting them. Not today, said Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy came to play.
I like the idea. Maybe this is something new you could incorporate, but just having the meme, quote unquote, meme quarterback like we had last week with Mike White, but instead of Mike White, it's just Brock Purdy. And I feel like
Let's check out his Wikipedia. His Wikipedia fiction. It's him in a Iowa State uniform, so it's nothing crazy.
No, that's boring.
I was hoping for the LinkedIn.
Yes, the linking profile, but
wow, he looks like a guy you'd want to take home to your parents. You know what I mean? Like he looks like a nice kid. He just looks very innocent. I don't know how to explain it.
Oh yeah, he does look. He looks like a Midwest like QB.
Iowa State, maybe. Isn't that where George Kittle? Am I wrong?
I have no idea where. I would say yes, but that's literally just a guess. I do not know where George Kittle came from. But looking at these stats, like yeah,
Iowa. Different schools. Iowa and Iowa State.
I hate that because like Michigan and Michigan State just like fucking come up with more creative names than.
Bro, a lot of these universities were like made in the fucking 1800s. It's not like a fucking NFL team, you know what I mean? It's not...
No, fuck these names. Rename their fucking entire school. I don't like these piece of shit names. Michigan State. Come on. Or Iowa State. But yeah, Brock Purdy, he went 25 for 37, 210 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. Christian McCaffrey was doing Christian McCaffrey stuff. He had 66 rushing yards, had 8 receptions, 80 yards, and a receiving touchdown. On the flip side, Tua only had, well, not only had, but he went 18 for 33, 295 yards, 2 touchdowns, but 2 interceptions. The only the only highlight of this offense, true highlight, was of course Tyreek Hill. He had 9 receptions, 146 yards, and a touchdown, but holy shit, Tyreek Hill is having a season. But just goes to show how good that 49ers defense is, and I truly think that they are the #1 defense in this league. It's just crazy to see, holding the Dolphins to 17 points. And yeah, sadly, oh no, fuck. The Dolphins did break the streak that the 49ers had of, I think this would have been the 5th straight game where they shut out teams in the second half. the Dolphins did score a lonely touchdown in the fourth quarter.
A lonely touchdown.
And
What makes a touchdown lonely?
well, I mean, it was like it looks like it was in garbage time. It's the only score that they had in the second half.
Gotcha.
No, it's a singular touchdown. I mean, you don't got like a partner, a second touchdown in there in the second half. A lonely touchdown. I literally just made up that term.
All right, cool. I like everything. I like your analysis of this game. Yeah.
Thank you. But
That was
Kansas
good.
City Chiefs versus the Cincinnati Bengals. You predicted this correctly. You predicted Cincinnati Bengals first. You've picked them to win, and then the Kansas City Chiefs. And your
It was a
prediction-
two-part prediction though that hasn't necessarily come true yet. Do you remember what it was?
Fuck, what was the second part to it?
Prediction was that the Bengals beat them here, so that by the time the playoffs come, the Chiefs have the motivation to beat them in the playoffs and make sure that Bengals don't return to the AFC Championship. That's my prediction.
I think that prediction is going to come true because the Bengals beat the Chiefs 3 times this year already. So they're due to lose against the Chiefs.
What do you mean 3 times this year? How?
It was like in the calendar year. AFC
But still, how?
in the
Calendar
playoff.
year? They played in the playoffs. I get that. And this
And I
year,
think they
what was the
played
third
in
time?
the regular season.
Oh, like really late in the last year's
Yeah.
regular season?
I think it was like
Oh,
January
shit.
1st or some shit.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there is a lot of, I mean, and it looked like bad blood too. Like Jamar Chase, like talking shit to all the Chiefs players on defense. Like it looked like they did not like each other, at least on that side of the ball. I don't know how like the Chiefs offense responded to the Bengals defense or anything like that. But like, yeah, it did not seem like they were friendly.
Not in the slightest. And this is not finally, but this is another rivalry formed. I think this is like a true rivalry that's formed now.
You're right. January 2nd, Chiefs, Bengals, 31-34. That is crazy. So every game has come down to a field goal in this calendar year. It's all been within 3.
Yeah.
In fact, wait,
It's insane.
this result, 27-24, was the same as the AFC Championship result, 27-24. That is wild. It's all leading up to the big Chiefs win this playoffs. I guarantee it.
I hope it happens. I need to mute my mic because blowing my nose is such a disgusting sound.
All right,
But-
well, I'll start moving on to the next game.
But- Yeah, I got nothing else to say. Wait, one last thing. How did Patrick Mahomes look?
I have nothing left to say. Wait, I have one more thing. Patty Mahomes looked okay. The biggest problem was that Travis Kelce could not do shit.
Wait,
He was a non-factor in this game, and he fumbled the ball.
you predicted that too, didn't you?
I don't remember if I did or I did.
I think you did because I think it was like an off comment, but you were like, Travis Kelce can't keep this up, and he's like due for like a bad game because like you were saying
That might have been in a previous week, but sure, I'll
Oh.
take it.
yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I'm smart.
Yeah, but now we can move on. I just wanted to see where Patrick Mahomes is. I guess we're going to get that into the MVP race, but yeah, let's get into the Los Angeles Chargers versus the Raiders. We both picked the Chargers to win, and which did not happen. The Raiders ended up beating the Chargers 27-20.
Easy.
Easy.
Yeah, the Chargers are an anomaly. I do not understand if this team is for real. Like, and to be fair, I think the Raiders are a better team than a lot of people initially gave them credit for. A lot of people were like, Raiders suck, right? I mean, even Jeff Saturday said that before beating them, right? Which I thought was really funny. And like, we can meme on the Raiders, Derek Carr, all we want, but they're a talented team. I think their defense is now starting to really get going. And Josh Jacobs is that guy, like officially. It took a while to get to this point. A lot of weird seasons from him. Some injury ridden, but here we are. He's been the best running back in the league.
Wait, can you
Point blank.
Can you put the rate, or can you see what the Raiders' record would be with a single point or single possession games? Because I feel
They
like
would be the best in the AFC.
that's insane. Because I just know that they went into a lot of overtime games this year, and I just know that they had a lot of singular possession games, and they're
I
we
need to
have
check that again, but I do remember seeing that. This is off my memory.
Yeah.
Okay, no, they wouldn't be the best in the AFC, but they'd be up there. So they'd be 8-4.
That's insane. That's insane. So yeah, they're a lot better team than what their record is right now. And I don't
But
know.
I mean, like what we said, that comes down to a lot of coaching, and I'm going to let him off the hook, Josh McDaniels. Even though I hate him, I do hate him.
I
Fuck
hate
that
him too.
dude.
Fuck that dude.
But I think he's been a lot better, and it could have just been, one of those things, young coach or new coach. Sometimes he doesn't get off to the hot starts that the other McDaniel ended up going on. Shout out to Mike McDaniels. Sometimes it doesn't work out like that, and that's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. Sometimes you can't just win all the time, like when you were on the Patriots with Tom
He's
Brady.
he's on a good run now, though, and I think that's what matters. How you end the year is more important than how you start. I'm
I
a
agree.
firm believer of that.
I
3-win
agree.
streak.
Hmm.
Let it be known.
And they're against solid teams too. They beat the Seahawks last week. I don't know what the first game is on. The team that they beat on this little win streak. But yeah, the solid teams that they're beating as well.
It was the Broncos, so whatever.
Oh, that doesn't count. Never mind. Two solid teams. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they end the season. I don't know if they're going to
Yeah.
make the playoffs or not, but it's just going to be interesting to see nonetheless how they end it.
Well, yeah, they have an interesting schedule. So they face the Rams into the Patriots into the Steelers, who I think, like, as bad as those teams are, I still think they have like pretty good defenses. So that could give Josh Jacobs, Devontae Adams a hard time.
Mhm.
But then you get into 49ers Chiefs to end the year back to back, which, by the way, if we look back, if we remember, they only lost by 1 point to the Chiefs in overtime, October 10th. So it's not impossible. They can still win that game. 49ers, that's going to be tough, even if it is Brock Purdy, who I think might be the next Tom Brady, but we'll discuss that later. We'll get into that later. Too early to tell.
I agree. And Josh Jacobs, you mentioned this before, but I just wanted to say stats. He was 26 attempts, 144 yards, a touchdown and 2 receptions. And this is his third 100-yard game in a row. He had 230 last week. So it's back to back over 145-yard games. So it's crazy. Now, 30 points.
Go ahead.
30 points is all I'm going to say. 30
more.
Or you
More.
how did the Colts manage to get almost double the amount of 30 points, in which you've been so adamant about, and it's the last thing that you're holding on to the season of the Colts? How did the Cowboys score 33 points in a singular quarter to end the game? How did this happen? Where did they go wrong?
So you do remember me admitting to this, though, last week, that as soon as I say that stat, the Colts are going to like ruin that streak. I did admit to that, saying that as good as they have been about not getting blown out, now they are going to get blown out, because now we're recognizing it, because that's just how the Colts work. That's how they operate. As soon as you give them credit for anything, they go and just fuck up. And this happened with like even the commentators in the Smash community, Super Smash Bros. We like to call this the commentator's curse. As soon as you give credit to anything, the player on the screen goes around and just like fucks up exactly what you're giving credit for. And that was happening to Chris Collinsworth. When he said, "Listen, I gave this this coaching hire a lot of shit, but ever since he's been here, the offensive line has looked a lot better." And then immediately is just like fucking who is it? Lawrence on the Cowboys just sacked Matt Ryan. It was just like, and that's just what it felt like the whole game. It's just like, okay, Cole started to get things going, and then immediately it's just like failure. And I do think Chris Collinsworth did say something of value. Shocker, I know, Caleb. Cover your ears, but Collinsworth did say something of value in that the deep ball was working a lot for the Colts. Like, especially to like Alec Pierce, who like he wins those one-on-one jump balls a lot. He had one of his better games this year in doing that, but we couldn't do it enough because either Matt Ryan was getting pressured or he's so used to getting pressured that he throws away the ball or does something stupid. Which, we could also say this happened to Wentz last year, but I think Wentz just suffered a lot more from what we call ghost pressure, where you just feel like you're under pressure so much and you try to be the hero. And Wentz ended up looking a lot crazier because he is more mobile, he's younger, quicker on his feet, and he's got an arm, you know what I mean? So he always tried to do like crazy shit and not take the checkdowns. It's kind of the reverse this year though, where Matt Ryan is taking checkdowns where we could get a really like nice deep ball going, but he's so used to getting pressured that he's facing that ghost pressure. And especially going against the Cowboys, who are one of the better defenses in this league, yeah, it's just like it's hard to get going on offense when you just have no faith in your offense.
Yeah.
At some point you have to like basically it comes down to confidence and culture. And when you start as rough as you were this season, and then you fire as many people as you did this season, and then you make a hire as ridiculous as you made this season, the confidence and culture is just no longer there. And that's all it really comes down to in my mind. And then also on the other side of the ball, defense just was, I don't know, their paper this time around. We did have some injuries, to be fair. 2 of our Pro Bowlers are not on the field presently. Pro Bowl defenders. So I do want to make sure people realize that, but still, it was an unforgivable performance by even the standards of playing under Jeff Saturday, who should not be the coach of the Colts. I'm sorry. As much success as he gets and doesn't get, I don't really care. Like, we need to find someone else just because it's too divisive, I feel like. A lot of the players on this team had a lot of allegiance towards Frank Reich, and for him to get fired like that and then for his replacement to come out about this way, I think there's a lot of just bad vibes within the locker room regarding that. You can try to be professional all you want, but the feelings are still there.
The feelings are still there. And I feel like this is just an added element to kind of the Colts craziness or Colts mayhem throughout the season. And
but we're going to like fucking go on a tear somehow. I don't know. We're probably going to win every other game this season because they can never just let me have what I want, which right now is a really high pick. I want a top 5 pick so bad, and we are within that range. If you really look at it, if you go to tankathon.com, we're in that range. We're on a bye week now. We could be as high as like the 6th pick if, the people who also have 4 wins win this upcoming week. And that's just within 1 week. But I know the Colts somehow, week 15 through 18, they're just going to go on a tear. Let's see what their schedule is, actually. You know what? That's fun.
Would that be
Let's look how they could disappoint me.
Is that the most like disappointing or like added to this Colts craziness, or is there another element that would happen that would add it to even more compared to?
Oh yeah, I mean a lot of things could make it worse. Like I don't want to like put this out into the universe, but injuries. Like I guess some players not getting a Pro Bowl nod, even though we've been a bad team and we're also like a small market, there are some players that do deserve a Pro Bowl nod, and Stephon Gilmore and Grover Stewart, and maybe just those two. But I think those guys have had great years, but probably won't get it just because we're a disgrace to the league right now.
Yeah.
We do play the Vikings. That would be a big upset. And then Chargers, Giants, Texans. I would love it if it was like we beat the Vikings, beat the Chargers, beat the Giants, who are all like, within the range of being a playoff team, and then lose to the Texans. I think that would be a great way to end the season within the realm of like this being mayhem.
Yeah.
Like that's the most fitting way to end the season.
Yes, it would.
Beat Vikings, beat Chargers, beat Giants, lose to the Texans. Fuck it.
Yeah, it's gonna happen now. You said
Or
it.
tie again with the Texans. That'd be great.
I want them to tie with the Texans again. I think that would be the most fitting thing. Cause I don't
So-
remember. I don't remember the last time I saw a two-tie team in the league, if ever.
I don't think it's ever happened. And for it to be against the same team to open the season and close the season, it's just storybook ending.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But yeah, I'm just so mad at the Cowboys right now because they're playing absurdly good. I was texting Titus. I think this is their third game over 40 and first game over 50 points that the Cowboys have. And I said earlier this podcast that if you get to the 40 benchmark, then your offense is just playing absurdly good. I know the defense has a lot of contributions to that and getting good field positions. You may get some like defensive touchdowns in there, but I don't like how the Cowboys are playing and fucking everyone's riding their dick now. Guess what? Guess what the percentage now for Super Bowl odds in the NFC East are?
Oh no.
50% chance of the Cowboys winning the fucking Super Bowl. You know the percentage of the Eagles right now? 33. How the fuck are you going to fucking disrespect the Philadelphia Eagles 11-1, 11 motherfucking and 1, beat the Cowboys, and all the Cowboys really have to do is just win on prime time. We're fucked. We're fucked if the fucking Cowboys beat us on Christmas Eve. We're fucked. Every fucking broadcast in the fucking entire world is gonna be 100% the Cowboys are gonna win the Super Bowl. Like if the fucking Cowboys beat the Eagles on Christmas Eve, I'm not gonna watch anything sport related for the next 3 weeks. I will quit. I will quit being an Eagles fan.
But you'll have to watch the Vikings lose to the Colts 2 days later on Christmas afternoon. What do you call that? The day after Christmas? Boxing Day.
Boxing Day. I'll watch. Although that's the only acceptable game that I'll watch.
But only if the Colts win.
Only if the Colts win. I won't watch if they lose.
Did you see your comment under the Dallas prediction?
No.
So not only did you predict Cowboys would win, but you also said that they would score under 10 points, which I think is ballsy.
You know what? I thought they would win 9 to like 3.
Wait, when you said 250 yards, 2 touchdowns for Philadelphia, who are you referring to?
Oh, Derrick Henry would get that amount.
Oh. I thought you meant AJ Brown, which like I guess you were ballpark like 2 touchdowns, sure.
No, that was just.
But I also said Jonathan Taylor more rushing yards than Elliott and Pollard combined, which I couldn't have been more wrong because those guys went off.
Lol. Didn't Pollard had like 2 or 3 touchdowns or something fucking absurd?
We don't have to talk about that.
Well, now I brought it up. Now I kind of want to talk about it.
Well, I'll just move on to the next game if you're going to do that. Buccaneers came back against the Saints. 8 minutes to go. It was 16-3. Bye-bye Brady is what everyone was saying in the locker room of the Saints going into halftime. They're like, easy dub. We've beaten them the last 50 times in Tampa Bay. They're garbage. That's exactly what they said. I was there.
You were?
And then what does Tom Brady do? He turns on the lights, baby. A dime to Mike Evans, a dime to Godwin, a dime to fucking Otten, whoever that guy is. And it was over. Tom Brady and the Bucks now 6-6. Whoa, how did we get here? Leading the NFC South, worst division in football. That's saying something because the AFC South also not good. But at least we have the Titans. Bucks, yeah, they could end up. I mean, how many games left? Like 4? They could end up, they could end up 10-6 or 11-6. I mean,
fucking
not
dummy.
over yet.
Fucking dummy. But hey, you wanna know the comment that I said? My little prediction. Tom
What'd you
Brady classic fourth quarter comeback.
Yeah.
Game winning drive.
You're right.
Best. That's literally the best prediction that I've had all year, and I'm going to retire. If we just forget about the previous couple predictions that I said, I think we can say that I'm probably the best predictor of all time. And if I put this on money, I probably would have won at least $1 million. If I bet it on this, I probably would have won.
I don't know if that's like a bet you can make in the sports books though. I don't know. Maybe it is.
I could like set up a parlay where it is somehow.
Wow.
I don't even know.
Like fourth quarter points scored, maybe? I don't know. Maybe.
5 minutes are under. But yeah, that's literally the only thing that I would say about this. And the Saints lost, so that's always good for the Eagles. I mean, the Saints have a chance, or the Eagles have a chance of having a number or having a bye in the playoffs and also having a top 5 pick in the draft.
Has that ever happened?
I'm not quite sure, but if it is, I would gladly take that. That would be amazing.
Let's see what the Saints schedule is to end the season and how likely it is they keep this positioning.
Eagles.
So wait, what'd you say?
Eagles.
Oh, you play the Saints? Oh, easy enough. Falcons, Browns, Panthers. They actually have a favorable schedule outside of the Eagles.
God fucking okay.
And by the way, if Bucks start to tank, like start to do really bad, 2 of the 4 last games that the Saints have are against divisional opponents, so they could like fight their way back into the playoff contention, which would be even worse for the Eagles because that would bump them up into like the last 12-ish. No matter what their record is, if they're in the playoffs, that doesn't matter.
Titus. You know what's Titus. Okay, that's not gonna happen. And you know why? Because can we just for this, can we I don't know if you picked them already, but can we just both pick the Falcons to beat the Saints? Just one more time.
Why?
Because if we pick the Falcons to win, they're going to lose because they do the
So
opposite.
the Saints would.
Oh fuck no. Okay, no. We have okay.
Like,
Wait. We need to pick the Saints. We need to pick the Saints, okay? We both need to pick the Saints.
The Saints don't play this upcoming week.
Fuck. They have a bye? Oh, that's boring. Next week, we're both gonna pick the Saints, okay?
If we remember.
I'm gonna put that in my calendar and we're gonna remember.
Oh man.
Okay, but
so what you're really wanting, what you're really asking for is like if we don't pick the Falcons, they win because that's the curse, right?
Yeah.
I see what you mean. Okay.
Yeah, so we need to pick the Saints so that the Falcons win. And then hey, look, the Falcons win, that's a plus for us because we're secretly like we're kind of Falcon fans.
I love Mariota. He's on my dynasty team. I want him to pop off.
I got Cordell.
Desmond Ridder, we don't need him.
Yeah, fuck that guy. And I got Cordell Patterson in fantasy. So yeah. All right, let's move on to this MVP race. I see that you got
baby.
There's a lot of movement here. You added a 6.
There actually is a lot of movement, especially compared to last week where there's literally none.
I like
pretty important.
I like your number 1. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, don't jump the gun here.
Maybe
I change it right now. No, I think that let's just start with the positional ones. Defense player of the year. Fuck Micah Parsons. Maybe I'm salty about the win against the Colts, but I don't think Micah Parsons was the best defensive player on his team. I don't think so. Listen, I get it. He can play every fucking position. Shut the fuck up, commentators. We are tired of hearing that, okay? You're not the only person in the NFL that could hypothetically play every position on the defense. Like, there's actually a good amount of players that could realistically do that. They just choose not to because they're so good at where they already are, right? Like, just shut up, okay? I'm over it. I don't want to talk about Micah anymore. Just from watching the game, I was like, okay, let's see what all the hype is about. I don't think he was the biggest factor in that defensive excellence. I think there was a lot of really great defensive players on the Cowboys, and that should be noticed. If Micah was leading the league in a certain category, maybe I would understand, but he's not. You know who is, though? Nick Bosa. He has one game less than Micah Parsons and is still leading in sacks. 14.5. So that's my defensive player of the year as of right now.
He's your offensive player of the year.
Oh, you know who it is. Same guy as last week. Josh fucking Jacobs. And you want to know why?
Why?
You want to know?
Yes. Tell me why.
Remember last week when I was talking about how he was first in all-purpose yards?
Yes.
First in rushing first downs.
Yes.
He had the longest run.
Yes.
And he averaged a higher yard per carry than anyone else within his range of carries.
Yes.
Do you remember all of that? Guess what?
Hmm.
Not only is all of that the same, but he increased the margin by even more.
Damn.
He's first in all-purpose yards with 1,634. First in rushing first downs with 72. His longest run is now 2 runs of 86, which is still more than anyone else. He's got 2 of them.
That's insane.
And he averages 5.38 yards per carry, which is more than what he had the week before, which was only 5.3. He increased that. It's the best average of running backs over 150 attempts. So I don't care if they're 5 and 7. Offensive player of the year, I don't believe should depend on wins. I think that particular category should not about wins. Yeah.
Statistical.
MVPs, sure. Why not? And that's why Jonathan Taylor should have won last year. Cooper Kupp had a great season. Don't get me wrong.
But
Jonathan Taylor better.
Yes. How's that a drink that you're drinking?
Pretty good. It's a vanilla cold brew from Wawa.
Nice. Tell me why you got Geno Smith at 6.
So Geno Smith made his way back into this MVP race. Last week, I only took him out because I really liked the green highlights that everyone had. Everyone in the list won, but Geno Smith didn't. And that really bummed me out that he was the one red highlight in the whole list. So I was like, fuck it. Get out of here. Win a game, and maybe you'll be back. And you know what he did? He listened to me, and he won a game against the Los Angeles Rams. And he still has all the great stats that we already knew he had. And I think he actually had a game that increased the specific categories where we felt like he was not doing as well in, like, you know, big time yardage and all those other things. He was actually pretty good, like rushing as well, which I feel like a lot of people don't like see that much from him. That he's like good on his feet, but he is. So, yeah, I guess I'll give him more credit. Caleb. God.
I like it. I wasn't disagreeing. I was just wondering why.
Then number 5 is Josh Allen. He's still same position he was last week. Like, he did enough to beat Patriots and stay on the list and all that, but I'm hesitant. Those 11 interceptions.
I am too. And 4 fumbles too.
There's a lot here that is really great from Josh Allen and a lot that's not great. So it's hard. It's hard to really distinguish where Josh Allen should be. I just feel like so many other players are just really outperforming him as of late. And you know what I said earlier, it's how you end the season. Not how you start, how you end. That's what matters most, because recency bias.
Yes.
Our favorite. We love recency bias.
Especially now.
Tua Tagovailoa. He was at 2 last week. Why is that 4? Because it was his first game that he lost when he played the whole game.
Damn.
And that was a big part of his campaign. It's like he hasn't lost a game where he played the whole thing. Well, guess what? Now he did. Shut the fuck up, Miami fans. All right. Yeah, sure. He has the longest yard per completion with 13.2. Yeah, sure. He has the best rating out of on this list with 112. But you know what he doesn't have?
What doesn't he have?
He doesn't have a rushing touchdown. And they're just like all the other players above him, they have that added element to their game that really puts them over the top. And I think that is important. As much as we want to talk about the glorious pocket passers, like how we talked about Tom Brady and Peyton Manning of the older generation, it's just not how the NFL works anymore. Those valuable quarterbacks, they're on their feet, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Rodgers was able to like be the last shining spark of those pocket passers in the past couple of years. But look at him now. Old, decrepit. We don't want that anymore.
Yeah,
we
fuck
want to
that
see
guy.
we want to see the new archetype of quarterbacks with these young guys. Burrow, Mahomes, Hurts. Josh Allen even. Josh Allen especially, I would actually go as far as to say. So yeah, Tua, love your game. I think you're an efficient passer. You got everything a passer should have, but as far as a most valuable player in all facets, you don't have that part of your game. If you're going to win most valuable player, first of all, it kind of sucks that you got injured because that also takes away from your resume. But you also need to be leading in more categories of passing if you're not also have those other facets. Because, okay, let's look at Joe Burrow. You know, he has a better completion percent. He's got more passing touchdowns, more passing yards, more volume in passing in general, right? But then he also has 5 rushing touchdowns and over 200 yards rushing. Like, that's why I had to put him over. Because Tua is just like not doing those extra things I think matter a lot when we're talking about this. I think Tua excels with the coaching he's got and the talent he has. Not to say that Joe Burrow doesn't have great coaching or great receivers, but I mean, think about what Joe Burrow was doing even when Jamar Chase was out. You know what I mean? Like, I think Joe Burrow has overcome a lot and is doing it. He's playing a really great. He's had a really great season in every area, and he's finishing the season strong as well. So he's sneaky. Like, he could realistically win this MVP race. And I feel like a lot of people aren't recognizing that. Mahomes and Hurts, you know, it's obviously theirs to lose, but if they do end up just like tanking for whatever reason, Burrow's the first one that comes to mind, next in line. So yeah. Then I got Mahomes too. The volume is there. All right. That's the biggest thing for Patrick Mahomes. He's got these 12 games played, 9-3, decent record, great record, I should say, but you know, not as good as number one. The 30 touchdowns, most yards, most completions, most attempts, blah, 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 right? But what I like to see is that efficiency and the touchdown and interception ratio with, like, yes, you have all that volume, but what are you sacrificing? And we saw what he was sacrificing in his loss to Cincinnati. That volume can't make up for everything, right? Because look at that completion percent. It's kind of tanked, especially since last week. And then the week before that. Like, the more volume, the more they lean on him, the more he's kind of reeling back, which is kind of an issue. You know, he's still using his legs pretty decently, but just not to the same degree as some other guys. Still a favorite, don't get me wrong, but I need to see him like playing more efficient games. And like maybe that does mean reeling back a little on that volume. Yeah, at the end of the day, it's like it's hard. I think he was very challenged this game, and we saw that his game is exposable. He's human. You know who isn't human?
Jalen motherfucking Hurts.
I was gonna say AJ Brown, but that guy's good too. Jalen Hurts, yeah. Yeah, in all seriousness, like, I understand why a lot of people don't want to give Jalen Hurts the credit because, like, oh, he's got great coaching. Oh, he's got all the weapons he could ever need. But, like, I look at the other guys on this list, like, yeah, they have that too, though. Patrick Mahomes with Kelsey and Andy Reid, Joe Burrow with Jamar Chase, probably the best receiver in the league. Tua Tagovailoa, best receiving duo in the league. Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs. And a great defense also. So, like, that's going to happen with every single quarterback that ever wins the MVP race. Like, no one's going to win the MVP race with a shitty lineup, all right? Or shitty coaching. Like, that's just not going to happen. Simply. You got to give Jalen Hurts his flowers because he is winning games for his team. Only 3 interceptions.
Only 3.
29 total touchdowns in 11 games. What?
That's insane. I immaculate, literally flawless.
609. How is he doing that?
I don't,
That's crazy.
I don't even know. Especially
Listen,
like,
Josh Allen isn't that far behind him, but still. Josh Allen doesn't have the same running game that the Eagles have. Like, you got Miles Sanders and all those other running backs in the Eagles org, and he's still putting up those rushing numbers. While
and
also still passing amazingly. Like,
and he has 9 rushing touchdowns where Josh Allen only has 5.
yeah.
You can't beat it. You
Yeah.
literally can't beat it.
I don't think you can, Caleb.
That's why
I
they're
would have to
11
agree with you there.
That's why they're 11-1. This list here makes me happy because I had a feeling that you would put him at number 1, but I didn't know if you actually did or not. And that's why I like waiting for my reaction to be on the podcast because I'm always so pleasantly surprised. It's always so nice.
Also, I messed up when I said he only had 11 games. I meant 12. I quickly realized like that's not right, but that's okay.
I switched the record real quick because it said 10-1. I just switched it to 11-1. But yeah, I just like seeing 11-1 because it makes me so good that it's like 1-1-1 and it's like I don't know, three ones in a row. It's like
No, I agree, man. It's a
Yeah.
nice feeling.
Yeah. But let's get on to these predictions. Our first game that we're predicting is the Los Angeles Rams versus Las Vegas Raiders. I got the Las Vegas Raiders winning this game
Do you?
because like we've been saying the past couple of weeks, they're on a streak. Josh Jacobs can't be stopped. He's gonna stop him. The Rams certainly aren't not. And yeah, I don't know. Like this is one of their easier teams on the schedule. And at this point, if I were the Rams, I honestly would just be trying to tank for a top 5 pick. That's kind of that's crazy to think about going from a Super Bowl win to a top 5 pick the next season after. And yeah, it's not looking good for the Rams, but it's all looking up for the Raiders.
I also have the Raiders.
Why do you got the Raiders?
Same thing you said. I was going to simply just leave it at Josh Jacobs, though. Josh Jacobs, as long as he's playing like he is, I'm not betting against it.
I agree. And I think it would be silly if you did. I think you'd be a silly goose if you bet against Josh Jacobs moment in time. But our next game.
Damn, there were a lot of transactions this week. I'm sorry. I'm looking at fantasy right now. I haven't opened it up all day.
Yeah.
I just realized that. Holy shit.
How many you got?
Oh
How
my
many
God.
you got? I know I did too.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There were 10 total. I didn't do any.
Damn.
I'm the best team in the league. I don't need to do shit.
Yeah. I needed to pick up a defense and a kicker because both of my kicker and my defense are both on buys. So I needed to pick up something. And I picked up the Raiders, ironically enough, because they're playing against the Rams. Solid defense. And yeah. Detroit Lions versus the Minnesota Vikings. This is my first and I think only upset of this week. This is let's go. Let's go. Fuck the Vikings. I've been rooting against the Vikings. I'm predicting against the Vikings the past few weeks. I think 2 of the last 3 games I picked against the Vikings, and I think they're due to start losing a few. And I think Detroit Lions is the perfect way to start. They're right on the Lions are on fire. They can't be stopped. That offense is rolling. And yeah, I don't know. I just feel like the Vikings aren't going to be able to stop that. And I don't think they definitely have the offensive power to keep up with the Lions' offensive power, but I just don't think they're going to click as well as the Lions have been clicking. And I just don't think they're going to be enough. So that's why I got Detroit.
D-Town, baby.
D-Town.
All I gotta say.
Next game.
Amon-Ra St. Brown. Actually, that's the other thing I wanted to say. Shout out to Amon-Ra, best wide receiver in the league. I said it.
Yes, you did.
Putting up those numbers with Jared F. Goff.
God damn.
Give me a fucking break. All these other wide receivers saying they're the best when they got Joe Burrow passing to him. Shut the fuck up.
Brown, greatest of all time. Better than Calvin Johnson?
I would say so.
I would say so too.
You got a long way to go.
Welcome to the League of the Wings podcast, where you get outrageous takes.
Mm-hmm.
But our next game, Philadelphia Eagles versus the New York Giants. All I gotta say is fuck them blue men. Cause Giants they suck. Eagles are gonna win this game convincingly. It's going to be another dominating performance by the Eagles. And ain't no way that the Giants are going to be able to beat them. And I think AJ Brown is gonna go off. Jalen Hurts is going to continue his MVP performance. He can't be stopped, not especially against the Giants. Giants ain't gonna stop him. And Giants are gonna be 7-5-1 and be like, how the hell did we win 7 games when we look like this? And yeah, that's all I gotta say.
You told him.
I told him. Why do you have the Eagles?
They're 11-1.
Yes.
I think that's all I gotta say right there. I mean, it's hard to overlook when you're playing as well as the Eagles are, and you got that record behind you to show for it. It's hard to predict against them. I'm gonna have to see something very convincing from the Giants to make me want to not predict the Eagles in the future. But until then.
Our next game, Buffalo Bills versus the New York Jets. I got the Buffalo Bills. I've been picking against the Buffalo Bills the past few games. And yeah, the Bills are the real deal. Not that I didn't think that the Bills weren't the real deal earlier, but I don't know. They showed me why I shouldn't pick against them. And the Jets, they've been struggling a little bit. Not struggling a little bit, but I feel like they don't have the offensive power to beat the Bills. And I feel like the Bills are a more complete team than the Jets are right now. And I just feel like they're going to be able to control this game throughout the totality of it. But why do you got the Bills?
Mike White, as good as he is, I just don't think he's gonna. The Bills. I think they can keep it close. Maybe it'll be another heartbreaker, a la Vikings, but yeah, I don't see it. I don't see it in the cards. Jets, great season, better than anyone could have anticipated, I feel. But it's just too much. At some point, you just can't win those big games against those very consistent opponents that haven't had, as much to deal with, within their organization. Their heads are clear. The Jets did beat the Bills. I will admit this did happen, but I can't see it happening twice.
I can't see it either, especially in the same year. Can't see it.
Not this year, at least.
What was it?
Not this year, at least.
Yeah.
Next year, maybe,
but that's next year. Cincinnati Bengals versus the Cleveland Browns. Fuck the Cleveland Browns. The Bengals are winning this game.
Bengals, baby.
3 interceptions from Deshaun Watson.
We saw what they did against Mahomes and how Mahomes struggled.
Yes.
I think it's going to be a similar thing against Watson. 3 interceptions? 3.
I put it in the comments. It's official.
I'm going to go a different route. I'm going to say 3 fumbles.
Imagine he gets 3 interceptions and 3 fumbles. At what point do you bench him? What point?
Jacoby Brissett's always ready, baby.
I was just about to say, when are you? At what point do you put Brissett in?
Brissett is inevitable. I believe that he's going to get a starting job in all organizations across the league until he retires.
Yes. Dallas Cowboys versus Houston Texans. This may be another slaughter. Like this, I hate picking the Cowboys, but
you've done it many weeks in a row now. I don't know if you've noticed.
I was hoping I noticed. I was hoping that you wouldn't notice because
no, I noticed.
Because I don't like this. I don't like this meme. This meme is not good. This is not a good meme. The day that I pick Cowboys for this many weeks in a row is the day that I don't know. I don't know why I'm doing this. I think I don't know.
Change it. Change it.
No,
Fuck
I
it. Fuck it.
I think it's mainly just because I wanted 3-peat in prediction.
Fuck you. I'm catching up.
Yes,
I'm only 6 behind now.
slowly but surely. This week so far has not been looking good with disputes.
Shut
But-
up.
Why do you have the Cowboys?
Best team in the league.
Fuck you. Eagles are the
Better
best.
than the Eagles. Eagles can only score what 17 against the Colts. A shitty ass team. Fuck the Eagles. That's all
You know
I
what?
gotta say.
You know what? Maybe you got a point. Tennessee Titans versus Jacksonville Jaguars. I got the Tennessee Titans winning.
Oh, you know I love an AFC South matchup. Why this isn't prime time is crazy to me. I got the Titans too. I want them to honestly. I want them to win out, and then I want them to fail in the playoffs. I want them to get slaughtered.
Yeah, I was just like, there has to be a pretty good reason for why Titus is picking the Titans right now.
I always got good reasons.
Always got good reasons, and then that's a pretty good
Always.
reason.
Mhm.
I was really close in picking the Jaguars. I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, I was Doug Peterson. That's all I gotta say.
Okay.
That's all I gotta say.
Sure.
Baltimore Ravens versus Pittsburgh Steelers. This was a coin flip, actually.
Bingo. Got a fucking dispute.
Fucking finally.
Oh.
It took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games to get to our first dispute. But yeah,
Nice counting.
thank you.
This is the 8th game.
Thank you. Thank you. I passed first grade for a reason. But
Really?
yeah, it was
Congrats.
specifically due
Just this year?
Yes, it was specifically due to my counting.
Nice. Yeah, I think Baltimore will struggle. Offensively, they've already kind of struggled. I can't imagine with a backup quarterback is going to be a different story.
Nice sneeze. Oh, that wasn't satisfying. Did you mute your mic for that? Oh, you did. Oh, that was not satisfying. I like hearing a good sneeze.
Honestly, it didn't even like happen. Like I thought it was like coming, and then it didn't. It was weird.
But
Mostly like backup quarterback. Yeah, I think Steelers are kind of on a roll, and I think Tomlin. I don't know if you saw the video, but Tomlin was going through the tunnel,
I saw this video. Yeah.
and there was this fan that was just like hyping him up. He's like, "I'm fucking working here," and you know what? I've never respected a man more in my entire life. That dude came to play, dude. He's the only coach I know that has hated losing so much that he stepped out into the field to stop a play. All right? This guy comes to play every game. And he knows that he has never had a losing season. He's only 2 games out. That's all I'm going to say. He's making a comeback.
Yes, only 2 games out. I was just about to say that. He knows this. The whole world knows this. He's only 2 games out. We may see a Steelers comeback where they are not a losing team. You can see it. But
if he was able to do it with Roethlisberger on his deathbed, rest in peace, Roethlisberger, then he can do it here.
Yes.
With Pickett. Pickett's not a bad quarter. I mean, yeah, not a bad quarterback. Hey,
Yeah.
Pickens, he's on the rise too. Like
He's
they got some things going. Najee Harris, I think, is finally getting going too behind this shitty offensive line.
Yeah.
There's some good things here.
Pickett is at least at the level of Roethlisberger the last 2 years on his deathbed, if not better. And that's the reason why I was doing a coin flip, or not that, but the reason why I was doing a coin flip was due to the fact that Lamar is not going to be playing. So I was going back between Steelers and the Ravens, but I just ultimately picked the Ravens for God knows what reasons. I think it's just because I hate the Steelers. But yeah. But you got the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Denver Broncos. I got the Kansas City Chiefs. Like, Broncos are shit. I would be very surprised if you picked the Broncos.
It's been a very long time since I predicted the Broncos. I don't know what it would take.
Yeah.
Maybe Texans. But they've already done that this year. And they won. So
Oh, wow. But yeah, I think the simple explanation that it's the Broncos versus the Chiefs is all that we really need.
True.
San Francisco 49ers versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I got the San Francisco 49ers due to the fucking rampage that the 49ers have been on the last 5 games.
Rampage.
Yeah. Rampage.
No, yeah, Brock Purdy, baby. Let's go.
Brock Purdy. He's really the god and savior of the NFL right now.
I know he's like the same, like kind of like archetype as fucking Mike White and Heineke, who I haven't exactly given the same support to. But I think something is so funny about Mr. Irrelevant becoming the starter against all odds on a Super Bowl team.
Yeah.
Because like this is a fairy tale, bro. It's not exactly the same with the Jets or the Commanders. Like this is an actual fairy tale come true for this guy. He gets to lead one of the best offenses in the league with that elite defense behind him. Like, this is his moment. This is his Tom Brady moment. And guess who he's playing in his first start ever? Tom Brady.
Tom motherfucking Brady.
Who also went through a similar situation where he got his first start due to an injury to the other guy. And the rest is history. So I'm excited.
Wait, I got something to say. Hold on. But imagine Brock is all they needed to win a Super Bowl. They drafted Trey Lance.
When was the last time a rookie quarterback won the Super Bowl?
I don't even know.
Let alone Mr. Irrelevant. Wait, Tom Brady didn't win the Super Bowl his first season, did he?
Mm-mm.
Okay, I didn't think
I
so.
don't think so. Because I think they won back-to-back in 03 and 04, and he came into the league in 02, or started playing in... Oh, wait, no.
No, he's older than that, dude. He started playing in the 90s.
He started playing in 2000.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Shit.
I'm pretty sure. Wait, hold on.
I swear, I thought he was like drafted in 1999.
Mm,
Oh, it was 2000 he was drafted. Fuck, whatever. I was close enough.
close enough. Yeah, his first start was 01, and I think they won in 2000.
He played for Michigan in the 90s. Same thing. I was right.
Close enough. I kind of low-key want Tom Brady to get to 100,000 passing yards in the regular season, but I know for the fact that he has
Why?
to play 2 more years, and I don't want that to happen, or 3 years, maybe 3 or 4 years. I don't want that to happen, so I'm like, no, I don't want that to happen. How does he only have 3 interceptions this year? Why the fuck is that a thing?
That's my goat.
I fucking hate him. But
I mean, that's always been his thing, though. He's not really like a turnover-prone quarterback.
yeah, but still, I thought it just sounds like he's having such a rough season that I thought he would have more interceptions than that. But it just goes to show that you don't really need a quarterback. You don't really need a quarterback on this 49ers team. Like, is Brock really that much of a downgrade than Garoppolo? Like,
Yes.
I guess
Like on paper, yes. But I have hope for Barack.
yes, Brock is gonna be.
I think if this is truly Tom Brady's like last season,
Yeah.
like I think this is a perfect like change of like the what do you call it?
Times.
No. But like he's basically handing down the crown, like it's as though it's like a monarchy. It's, you are the Tom Brady of the future, my
Yes.
man. Like you know in the fucking the commercial with Morgan Freeman and Tom Brady, it's like you are the next Tom Brady. You aren't the next Tom Brady. You're the next you. Like, that cheesy bullshit. Like that's what's happening. All right,
Yes.
Brock Purdy, Tom Brady. They sound the same. Like it's just meant to be.
And I think Brock is already the GOAT. Wait, how old is he? How old is
Already the GOAT.
Wait, how old
Listen, he starts off on a really good team too. They're ready. They're Super Bowl bound. Let's see it. Give George Kittle a Super Bowl win. That's all I ask. I want George Kittle to win a Super Bowl.
I'm full force in this. he's only 22 years old. That means that we can have him for another 2 decades
Easy.
at least. This
Listen, medicine is only like getting started. It's hitting its stride right now. Modern
Yes.
medicine. So like players are gonna start playing 30 years.
yes.
LeBron's not stopping.
Tom Brady somehow ain't stop it. Seahawks.
Not even marriage can get in the way of Tom Brady, baby.
Not even his own family can get in his own way. Not even his loving children that are like, Dad, please, we just want to spend time with you. Stop playing sports. He's the only man to say fuck you to his own children. I'm working. That's probably not the only man, but all right. Seahawks first, the Carolina Panthers. I got the Seahawks.
Great segue. Just jump right into it. Yeah, I think Carolina with Sam Darnold, they could be competitive. I think they've gotten some wins this season that we didn't expect from them. Deontay Foreman's kind of stepped up. They still got DJ Moore. It's not over. For the
Mayfield's
Panthers.
not on the team anymore, so
That's right.
That's a plus.
Mayfield's on the waivers, sitting pretty. Like, who's gonna pick me up?
The Rams
No
did.
one.
Rams
The
did.
Rams picked him up. Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm dead ass.
Wait, I didn't see that. I guess that makes sense. They are down to like
They're
second string.
eighth string. Yeah,
I mean, what do they have to lose at this point? That kind of makes sense.
nothing.
Fuck
But
it. Mayfield takes over for the Rams, pops off.
Guess almost another Super Bowl win at
The Mayfield to Cooper Cup connection is going to be great because Mayfield doesn't have to throw a deep ball to Cooper Cup. He's a slot receiver.
yeah.
So it's a perfect combination.
yes. Perfect combination. Matthew Stafford's going to retire after this season. Mayfield's going to step in and win 5 Super Bowls out of the next 10.
Anyways, as far as Carolina goes, I think Darnold can still be a good quarterback in this league. Obviously not elite or anything like that. But they're not going to be the Seahawks right now. That's just how I feel.
I agree. Miami Dolphins versus Los Angeles Chargers. I don't know what to make of the Chargers, but I have a better idea of what I know of the Dolphins. I got the Dolphins winning. Why do you have the Chargers?
Good question. Firstly, the idea of them having a losing record this late in the season just doesn't sit right with me. So I'm just predicting off the basis that I don't want to live in a world where Justin Herbert with Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Joshua Palmer, and Austin Eckler are 6-7. That's insane to me. Plus, like all the people on the defense as well. Like, I don't know what it is with this team because I actually do like their coach too. I don't know what is going on, but they need to figure it the fuck out. I'm tired of it.
I agree. I don't know what's up with them. They have one of the best offenses in the league on paper, and they only have 6 wins, 6 losses. I agree with you. I think.
Wait, let's look at that one possession standing thing. I don't remember what the Chargers were.
Imagine they're just like 12-0.
They're worse. They're supposed to be 5-7. This doesn't make any sense.
That doesn't make any sense at all.
So if our coaching theory is right, where the coaching gets you over that hump, then this is what good coaching gets you with this team is 6-6. I just don't understand. What is going on?
I don't understand either.
What do you do? What is this team bad at? Like, I don't know where it is.
Probably defense. It's probably where they're
They still have like Bosa and all of them. They got Derwin James.
Just because you got a couple players doesn't mean that you're.
No, yeah, for sure. Maybe defensive coordinator needs to go.
I think it's generally just their defense. Just looking at it, yeah. Let's go back. They let up 19 versus the Raiders, 27 versus the Chiefs, 38 against the Jaguars, 24 against the Texans, 28 against the Browns, 16 against the Broncos, 37 against the Seahawks, 17 against the Falcons, 22 against the 49ers.
They're a bottom 3 defense as far as points go.
I think it's just their defense. I think it's probably a defensive coordinator issue, like you said.
But the thing is like there's no like particular area where they're getting dominated on defense. It's just kind of like holistically something is falling through. Because like as far as against the pass, it's not like terrible. It's kind of middle of the pack. Rush a little worse, but doesn't
What
like
about-
merit bottom three defense as far as scoring goes. For some reason, they just keep getting scored on.
Yeah. What's their time of possession like? Maybe they're just getting winded and getting burned on certain issues or certain like
Their opponent is getting a longer time of possession than the offense, but it's
maybe
not by that much.
I was thinking maybe
I don't think it's that.
yeah. It's probably I don't the Chargers are just an enigma in the league. They just are always going to be 500 no matter what they have on their team. Then
Oh well.
then you got the Patriots versus the Arizona Cardinals. I got the Patriots. Fuck the Cardinals. I don't know why, but I just really don't like the Cardinals.
Well, I have the Cardinals. I hate the Patriots. So I guess there's that. But also
Maybe-
I just feel like Cardinals are due. Like, sure. I don't think that their coach is all that great. I think Murray is kind of disappointing their whole organization. I don't know what you want me to say about that giraffe. I don't know why you keep holding it up.
Is it
I
look
swear
at
to
his
God,
little
if you don't
outfit.
stop,
Look at his little outfit though.
I can barely see it. 'Cause I
Oh,
have you minimized. Wait, do it again.
you got a
What
little,
is it?
it's a headphone like thing. But it looks like a little
All right.
little like outfit.
Anyways.
I just wanted to show the audience, but I'm sorry, that was rude of me to interrupt you during your talking time.
Sorry. um, yeah, I get why everyone like it kind of is disappointed with this team, but I don't think they're as bad as their record shows. I think they're middle of the pack, kind of like 0.500, like we were just talking about with the Chargers. That's how I feel about them, just because I think they have a lot of great talent. It's just like can't close out wins. And with the what if NFL standings, they are exactly what I said, 6'6", 0.500. So I feel like they're gonna start pushing their way into that conversation. Patriots 6'6", that doesn't sit right with me. I think they need to have a losing record because I hate them.
I agree.
So I'm gonna say 30 plus points
Hmm.
for the Cardinals.
I'm wearing,
Because as good as the Patriots defense is, I hate them.
I'm gonna say that the Cardinals. I'm gonna go the opposite way and say that the Cardinals score 13.
13 exactly.
Yeah.
They could still win though.
Yes.
Because
But
yeah. Anyways, that's it. That's the whole show.
wait, I just want to say, I clinched a position in fantasy. I'm going to the playoffs, baby. First time.
Caleb versus Caleb.
versus
Best of 3.
Yes. So I play Caleb this week, next week, and the week after. Hopefully, I can advance.
Probably. It's not confirmed.
Probably. Hopefully, and then I'm gonna go to Titus and beat Titus in the championship. My team is so dog shit right now. I just want to.
Just not where I expected that to go, but all right.
The luck gods have been forming. I've been getting super lucky. So I just need that luck to transform into my team, and then the power of luck can prevail for any team. And I think that they're going to beat you, Titus, in the championship. I'm gonna be a first round exit. I already feel
Wait,
it.
let me see. You got Murray and Prescott.
Like
Williams, Walker. It's not bad.
I'm just not feeling confident about this is all. I just don't.
Yeah, I've been getting hit with the injury bug quite
Yeah.
a lot.
Cooper Cup. And then Sutton is not gonna play.
What happened there?
The fuck? Oh my god.
I see the video when you click on his name. Is the Broncos offense in trouble without Cortland Sutton? They were in trouble with him. When were they not in trouble?
Yeah, I feel like they're just always constantly in trouble. I don't know. My team's not that he was doing any
I love
good.
how you picked him up after I dropped him.
Yeah, only for him to get injured.
Seems to happen quite a bit. I had him when he was doing his best because when you look at his like first 4 weeks, that's pretty good.
Hmm. I wish
First 5, you could say.
I wish he came back, and then so that I could. I don't understand how I have the second most points in this league, and I don't
Jamal Williams,
understand how
baby.
you're. And I don't understand how you have almost 100 more points than I do.
Dude, from the very beginning, I said this would happen because I was so surprised about how the draft went. I should not have gotten as good of players as I got in the draft because I basically have like the best wide receiver, the best tight end, and like a top 3 running back. How'd that happen?
I blame me not being able to pay full attention to it, and then Cooper Cup,
That's actually
Okay.
true. Yeah.
and then Cooper Cup fucking getting injured. But in my other league, I'm in literally the same position as you are. I have like 100 more points than the next player. I'm 10-3. I clinched it. I clinched a playoff position, and everyone's still fighting for a playoff spot. But I'm just like sitting here the last 3 weeks, like I've already clinched the playoffs. I don't need to worry.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. But okay, that's all for episode 119. Join us for episode 120. Can't believe we already have 120 episodes of the League of the Wings.
Crazy.
Only for me to delete the channel after this season.
Oh,
No, he's joking. Joking. But do you got any last words before we end it? This one was a long one.
it seems to be going that way quite a lot.
Especially over Zoom, because like I don't have to get up and stop the camera. I still have
Yeah. When you have to get up and stop the camera, that just like is a constant reminder of like, oh shit, we keep doing this.
Yeah. Yes. The reason why it's another Zoom meeting though is because Josh gave me COVID. And
I thought it was the other way around.
no.
Oh.
Josh was like, here's COVID. I'm only going to be in quarantine for 2 days. Be in quarantine for 7. And I'm like, okay.
That's true. He must have found out he had COVID like late.
Yeah, I'm so surprised that Trey or Brendan didn't get COVID, but then I did. I still need to get my booster, so that's probably why.
I didn't get my booster. I got COVID, so
Yeah.
that's my booster.
Wait, how long did you have COVID for? Like how much did you quarantine?
I don't know. A week, I guess. I don't really remember.
Because this is
It was all a blur.
Because this is so
I watched Steven Universe like the whole week. Bro, and it was the same week that like the Colts lost to the Jaguars in like embarrassing fashion. It was so disgusting. Anyways,
down bad.
down bad.
But yeah. Got anything else to say before we end it or no?
No.
All right, cool. Bye, motherfuckers.